Hello friends, welcome to Bode. So in the last video, we saw some theoretical questions on loops and conditional statements. In this video, we are going to focus more on programmatical questions based on the same topic. So if you're someone who is preparing for the interview, these 7 questions are going to be of great help to you because there are high chances that you might get a similar kind of question in your interview. So let's begin with our first question, which is asking what will be the output of the following program. So if we talk on the questions that are based on programs, there are two types of questions that can be asked. First, you'll be given a complete program and asked to find the output of it, or you'll be asked to write the complete program itself. Now, writing the complete program needs logic building, and you need to practice a lot. So we have a lot of videos on different programs that can be useful for you in your logic building process. We have videos on programs such as finding the reverse of a number or finding if the number is palindrome or not, and so on. You can check the Java tutorial playlist for that. Now let's see what is going to be the output of the first program. So here we have a simple for loop and inside which we are printing the value of I, that is index, which runs from 0 to I less than 10. So here usually if it was a simple for loop without anything else, value of I will be printed from 0 to 9. But observe we have a break statement here, and break is going to exit the loop as soon as the control finds break. So in this particular program, the control will go inside the loop for I equal to 0 and then it will print 0 and then break the loop. So after which the next iterations are not going to be executed. So that is the reason the output of this program is simply going to be 0. Let's run this. And you can see that the output is 0 because after the first iteration we have a break and it is going to break the loop. If I write if I equal to 1 then break, then after printing 1 it is going to break, but since we don't have any condition it will break directly. And also observe we have a warning here that this is a dead code. Why? Because after first iteration anyhow loop is breaking and then there is no point of incrementing the value of I. That is why it is showing a warning that it is a dead code. If I remove this break, the warning will be gone. So that is the reason we have a warning here. So observe for the break statements. Now let's see the second question. Here again we have a for loop and we are printing the value of I inside for loop. But here the value of I is changing inside the loop. So the I is not only incrementing here but also over here. So it is not going to directly print by incrementing the values of I by 1 but by 3 because once it is incrementing here and then over here. So let's see how the program is going to work. So first we have I equal to 0 that is going to be printed over here in the first iteration itself, after which the value of I will change to 0 plus 2, that is 2. Now the value of I is 2, but before going to next iteration 2 is going to increment to 3 because we have I plus plus over here. So 3 is going to be printed. Then the value will change to 3 plus 2, that is 5. In the next iteration 5 will increment to 6 and 6 will be printed. Again 6 plus 2 is going to be 8 and 8 plus 1 after this condition is going to be 9. So 9 will be printed. Then I will change to 9 plus 2, that is 11. Now will it go inside the loop? No, because already 11, that is the value of I, is greater than 10 and our condition is to check whether I is less than 10 and then only it will go inside the loop. So for I equal to 11 it will not go inside the loop and it will come, the control will come out of the loop. So only 0, 3, 6 and 9 will be printed. Let's run this. So here we have our output 0, 3, 6 and 9. You can also check by debugging how the value of I is changing in each iteration. So let's see our next program. In question number 3, we have int I equal to 0. Then the second condition is blank. That is, we don't know up to what point the loop should execute. And then we are incrementing the value of I and printing 1 inside the loop. Now, since we don't know where to stop the loop is going to execute infinitely. So if I run this program, you can observe that loop is going on infinitely and it is printing 1 continuously. So because we have not mentioned any condition here. So if you have this condition missing, then the loop is going to run infinitely. Remember that. So if we don't have the second condition, no need to mention these conditions as well. So even if you keep like this, the loop will run infinitely. So like this. So observe for these conditions as well when you are given a programmatical question. Let's see question number 4. Now this seems a little complex. We have two conditions here for I equal to 0 and j equal to 0. So we have initialized two variables in the loop. Second condition, we have checked again two condition I less than 5 and j less than 5. So loop will exit only when both I and j will be less than 5. Even if one value is not less than 5, the loop will exit. And then we have incremented I by 1 as we usually do, and j's value is incrementing by I plus 2. So in each loop, j will increment by I plus 2. So let's see how this is going to work. In the first iteration, I will be 0, j will be 0. In the second iteration, I will be 1 because I is incrementing only by 1, and j will be I plus 2, that is 3. In the next iteration, I will be 2 and j will be I plus 2, which is 4. Again, in the next iteration, I will be 3 and j is going to be 3 plus 2, that is 5. Next iteration, it will not execute the next iteration. Why? Because 5 is not less than 5 and we have a AND condition here. So even if I is less than 5, j is not less than 5, and that is the reason it will come out of the loop. So if I run this program, and since we are printing the value of I, 0, 1 and 2 are only printed. I3 is not printed because 5 is not less than 5. If I remove this condition and run the code, so you can see up to 0 to 4 all conditions are printed. But since we also have AND condition here, it also checks for the value of j, and this is how the output is produced. So if you're given such complex question, you have to patiently calculate all the values of I and j. And remember, it is possible to give multiple values over here. But in the second condition, you need to mention and. Initialization conditions can be separated by comma. Incremental conditions can also be separated by comma. But over here, you need to mention the single condition. And if you want to check two values, and or operators can be used. So in this way, the program works. Now let's move to question number 5. This question is based on while loop. So while true, we are printing a statement. Now while true means true is an infinite condition and true is going to be true forever. That is the reason this loop is also going to be an infinite loop because value of true is going to be true. Now if I take a variable here, let's terminate this. If I take a variable here, boolean is while equal to true and check that variable, then also loop now will run infinitely. But if I change is while equal to false after the first iteration, then the loop will execute only once. So we have only once. So since is while is changing to false in the next loop or the next iteration, only once in while loop is printed. So this is how while loop works when we have or when we simply pass a boolean value to it. Now, if you pass any true condition to it, suppose int I equal to 0, I'm simply writing, and I'm not changing the value of I, and I'm simply saying I equal to 0. Then also this condition is true forever, so the loop will run infinitely. So check if the value of I is really changing and then only give your answer. Because sometimes the trick can be that the value of I is not even changing and the loop runs forever. Now let's see the next question. Question number 6 is based on switch. So we have switch statement here and we are taking the value of A in the switch statement, and depending on the value of A, we are printing the respective month. So if the value of A Jan. Now let's see the next question. So question number 6 is based on switch and we're taking the value of A inside switch, and depending on the value of A, we are printing the respective month. So if A is 1, then Jan, if A is 2, then Feb, and so on. But observe, we do not have break after each case. Then what will happen? So your value of A is 1, so Jan should be printed, but let's see what happens. If I run this program, then all the months are printed from Jan to December. Why? Because we have not provided the break statement here, and it considers everything under the case 1. So everything is printed, and only at break this control stops. But remember, if you want to check only one condition and print the value depending only on one condition, and you don't want other conditions to execute if one condition is satisfied, you need to write break after each case. So if I write break here and then execute, then only Jan will be printed. So you need a break after each case if you want to execute only one condition. So I hope you got the importance of the break statement. Also, sometimes in switch cases, in some places, break will be missing in your questions. So carefully observe for that as well. Now let's move to question number 7. Now in this question, this is based on if else. So usually if you have questions on if else, you are going to be asked more on operators, how operators works and how combinedly the condition operates. So here we have int I equal to 9, and we have to check if plus plus I equal to 10 and I plus plus equal to 11, or I minus minus equal to 9. So a long condition, right? Let's see one by one how this is going to execute. So plus plus I equal to 10. Now since this is a pre-increment operator, plus plus I is going to change to 10. 9 plus 1 equal to 10, and 10 equal to 10. So true. And brackets we have plus I plus plus equal to 11. Now I is 10 already. I has incremented to 10, and plus plus I plus plus equal to 11 will be false because it is a post increment operator. First the condition is going to be checked, and then the value of I will increment. So this is going to be false. Here 10 is not equal to 11. Similarly, we have decrement, post decrement over here, and then I value will be 10. So 10 is not equal to 9. So that is the reason this is also going to be false. And true and false. So it is going to be true, and then the brackets execute first. So false or false is false, and true and false is false. So the output is going to be false here. So our output is false. If I remove this condition, we'll only have the true condition here. The output will be true. So observe carefully for post increment, pre-increment, and there can be various conditions that can be asked. Solve them one by one. Solve the brackets first and go step by step to solve the problem. In this way, you can easily solve this problem. So these were the 7 questions based on loop, switch, and if. You can be asked similar questions in your interview. If you are asked some new questions, do mention them in the comment section below so that your friends can take help from it. If you like this video and want such videos, please subscribe to our channel and also like and share this video. Thank you.